So I've been traveling for about 10 years now. I've been lactose intolerant for all of those years. 3 of them I've been vegan for, and about 6 months I was gluten-free. So it's safe to say that I know quite a bit about traveling with allergies, food restrictions, dietary requirements as a vegan, etc. So these are some of the best tips and tricks that I've learned and I've managed to continue my travels with. I've managed to thrive, get my nutrients, I'm still here. So I've succeeded so far. So one of the first things that you're going to want to do is to research your region. The world is very, very big, and certain parts of it are a lot more accommodating to your diet than others. For example, as a vegan, there are certain countries and parts of the world that it's very, very difficult to find food in, just because their local food is nothing close to being vegan. That's not saying you can't find food as a vegan, it's just going to be a lot more difficult and a lot trickier. So I'm going to want to make sure that the countries and the places I'm picking are more suitable to the dietary restrictions that I have and the foods that I like to eat. So when it comes to being a vegetarian, it's really not that tricky to travel. Most places in the world, there are vegetarian options. The real issue is the vegans, because we don't eat egg or milk. Most, like 90% of vegetarian options have dairy in it in some form or another. So that's where it gets really, really tricky, because even if it doesn't have meat, it's usually cheese of some sort. In South America and in Europe, I tend to find that is the case, that the vegetarian options they do have tend to have a lot of cheese in it because they rely a lot on like beef product, on cows. When it comes to Asia, Asia's a lot easier to be a vegetarian and a vegan because of their religious beliefs. So Buddhism, a subset of Buddhism, is vegetarian. So there's many options, and you can just search out Buddhist restaurants to get those vegetarian options, and a lot of them have vegan options as well. And every year that I travel, there's more and more options coming available. It's becoming easier and easier to be a vegan. Like when I first started traveling in 2015 as a vegan versus now 2019, it is crazy the difference. There are so many more food options, and I'm not just talking about solely dedicated restaurants to vegans and vegetarians. I'm talking about an option in a restaurant, which in most cases is good enough. When it came to being dairy free, I found in general like North America and Europe was very, very big on the dairy. Just love the cheese, whereas again Asia, a lot easier. Like they hardly ever use dairy. A little bit in Indian cuisine. Being gluten-free wasn't overly tricky. I mainly did it when I was in Asia. I don't know how 100% I was with it, but they use a lot of rices there. In Europe, it's very tricky to be gluten-free because they love the breads. They really love the breads. As a vegan, I end up eating a lot of bread when I'm in Europe. Bread tends to be the cheap food option. Preparing in advance. So what I mean by this is packing snacks, packing granola bars, or packing Ziploc bags full of fruits or nuts or any kind of safe snacking food that you can with you. I always just buy a couple boxes of things and just keep it in my hotel room or in my hostel. So the easiest way to ensure that you know what's in your food is to rent places with kitchens. Now this was really, really important when I had friends with allergies that I traveled with, because it was just very difficult to constantly be eating out and having cheat meals, because it's never ever going to be perfect. So having a kitchen, you can guarantee you know exactly what you're putting into your food, and there are grocery stores everywhere in the world, so it's very easy to cook in foreign countries. Generally most of the places that you are renting from, like the kitchens, if you're renting with a kitchen, will have all the utensils, all the cooking stuff that you need. You just need to kind of buy oil and some spices generally. Plus you get to like go and visit all the local markets. You get to go fruit and veg shopping. It's a lot of fun, like taking your shopping bags up to your place. So another option is to travel with your food, and what I mean by that is RVs and camper vans, road tripping, where you essentially have a little kitchenette with you. It might just be a 2-burner stove, but you can cook food, and therefore the same thing. You're going to local markets, you're going to local grocery stores, but you are preparing your food so you know it's safe for you, you know you can eat it. So if you do, however, still want to eat out, go to restaurants and try the local foods, you should definitely learn the language. Really, the first words of every language that I learn are, I don't eat meat, I don't eat dairy. I memorize it because I'm going to be repeating it a lot when I'm in a new country. However, though, if you don't want to memorize it, there are allergy cards. I'm allergic to this, I cannot eat this, do not put this in my food. And that is translated in the local languages of the places that you are visiting. You can then hand that over to the waitstaff so they can read it and understand, and they can also take it back to the cooks so they can understand as well. And I usually like to have multiple of these printed out, so if it gets lost or if the cook ends up keeping them, it's not a big deal. Another option, if you don't want to print out physical cards or have physical cards with you, is Google Translate. You can just literally show them your translation and they'll be able to read it as well. Another little tip is to don't trust the menus. Menus are not 100% accurate all the time. Sometimes vegetarian means chicken is okay in some countries. So I will always clarify with the waitstaff that I can't have meat, that I can't have dairy. Even if I am ordering a dish that doesn't seem like it would have those items in it, I would just double check and clarify with the waitstaff. And I don't always trust waitstaff as well. Nothing like personally against the waitstaff, is that they just don't always know what are the ingredients in my food. But I do this in a nice manner. I mean, like, it's not the waitstaff's fault when it comes to your allergies. It's people are trying to understand, they're trying to help, and it's up to you to just really make sure that you know everything that's going into your dish. Another helpful tool that 2019 and a few years before that has brought us is Google and apps. One of the things I like to do is plan kind of in the morning where approximately I'm going to be going for lunch or even dinner at when I'm out and about, so I know, approximately where I'm going to be and if there's going to be enough restaurants in that area. Now, there is one app that is amazing for this, and it's called Happy Cow. It is 100% the only way that I've been able to sustain being vegan and traveling. It is an amazing app that lists out all the local restaurants that have vegan or vegetarian options. It tells you the location of the restaurant, you can have the hours, it shows you menu items. It is amazing. Just picking out popular areas will help you, so you have more options, because it might take you a few restaurants to actually find something that can. Another little tip I can give you is to try and keep your beliefs in line, especially if you are vegan or vegetarian. And what I mean by this is that vegetarianism, veganism is a very foreign concept to a lot of people around the world. They don't really understand it, they don't get it. People tend to understand allergies and foods you can't eat a lot more than foods you don't want to eat. If you're sticking to more touristy places around the world or more popular places, then they're generally have heard of vegans or vegetarians, even gluten-free. So at least I kind of understand it a bit more. Food preferences and restrictions are a type of luxury. The fact that we get to actually choose what we want to eat instead of just having food at all is a luxury. And last but not least, accept that it's not going to be perfect. Your order might be cut with the same knife that cut meat. It might be fried in oil that fried fish. You might have just had the cheese removed from the bread that you're about to eat. It is so hard to get everything, every food that you eat perfect. If you have an allergy, you typically tend to know this already. But stressing out about each and every little thing is just going to ruin your trip. So unless it is a major allergy, in which case you should have your medication with you at all times, you should have numbers for doctors. If it's just a preference, then just know that it's not going to be 100% perfect. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that has helped you. If you have any other tips or tricks that you've learned on your travels, please let me know down below in the comments. I'm very curious to see if I missed anything. But these have all worked for me and have allowed me to, eat while still traveling the world. So thanks again for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you aren't already, and I'll see you guys again in a few days' time with another video. Bye!